There is something deeply human about the need to understand the world around us. From the moment our earliest ancestors looked up at the stars or reached their hands into the earth, the drive to discover has shaped everything we are and everything we have built. Across thousands of years, certain breakthroughs have stood apart from the rest, not simply because they were clever or surprising, but because they fundamentally changed the course of human civilization. These are the discoveries that rewired how we think, how we live, and how we see ourselves in the universe. Some came from moments of pure accident, others from lifetimes of obsessive pursuit. All of them left the world permanently altered. What follows is a journey through 10 of the most transformative discoveries in all of human history, ranked not by the fame of the individuals behind them, but by the sheer magnitude of their impact on our species and our world. Long before written language, long before cities or agriculture, there was fire. The controlled use of fire by early humans, dating back at least 1 million years and possibly much further, represents perhaps the single most consequential discovery ever made. Fire provided warmth in freezing climates, protection from predators, and light in the darkness. But its most profound effect may have been on the human body itself. Cooking food with fire made nutrients more bioavailable, allowing our ancestors to extract far more energy from their meals. Researchers believe this dietary shift contributed directly to the expansion of the human brain over tens of thousands of generations. Fire also became the center of social life, a gathering point around which language, storytelling, and community could develop. Without fire, the entire trajectory of human evolution would look unrecognizable. It was not just a tool. It was the beginning of our relationship with technology itself. Around 5,500 years ago, in ancient Mesopotamia, someone attached a round disc to an axle and changed transportation forever. The wheel is so fundamental to modern life that it is easy to forget it had to be invented at all. Before the wheel, moving heavy goods required enormous human labor. After it, trade routes expanded, armies became mobile, and civilizations could grow in ways that were simply not possible before. The wheel did not stop at carts and chariots. It became the foundation for gears, pulleys, mills, and eventually the engines and turbines that power the modern world. Every machine with rotating parts owes its existence to that first simple disc turning on an axle in the ancient Near East. The wheel is a reminder that the most elegant solutions are often the ones that endure the longest, quietly underpinning everything that comes after. Around 5,000 years ago, the Sumerians of ancient Mesopotamia developed one of the earliest known writing systems, called cuneiform. At roughly the same time, ancient Egyptians were developing hieroglyphics. Writing transformed human civilization in a way that is almost impossible to overstate. Before writing, knowledge was fragile, dependent entirely on human memory and oral tradition. A single generation lost to disease or disaster could erase centuries of accumulated wisdom. Writing gave memory a physical form. It allowed laws to be recorded and enforced consistently, enabled complex trade across vast distances, and made it possible for one generation to pass precise knowledge to the next. Science, philosophy, religion, literature, and governance as we know them are all built on the foundation of written language. Every book, every contract, every scientific paper, every line of code traces its lineage back to those first marks pressed into clay tablets thousands of years ago. For most of human history, disease was a mystery wrapped in superstition. Illness was attributed to bad air, divine punishment, or imbalances in the body's humors. Then, in the 19th century, scientists like Louis Pasteur and Robert Koch demonstrated something that seems obvious now but was revolutionary at the time. Tiny living organisms, invisible to the naked eye, were responsible for causing infectious disease. This discovery, known as germ theory, transformed medicine from guesswork into science. It led directly to the development of vaccines, antibiotics, and modern surgical practices. It gave rise to public health systems, sanitation infrastructure, and the understanding of how diseases spread through populations. The average human lifespan in many parts of the world has more than doubled since the widespread acceptance of germ theory. Billions of lives have been saved as a direct result. Few discoveries have had a more immediate and measurable impact on human survival. Electricity was not invented so much as it was understood and then harnessed. Benjamin Franklin's famous experiments in the 1700s helped establish that lightning was electrical in nature. but it was the work of scientists like Michael Faraday, James Clerk Maxwell, and later Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison that transformed electricity from a curiosity into the backbone of modern civilization. The ability to generate, transmit, and use electrical power reshaped every aspect of human life. It made artificial light possible, eliminating the tyranny of darkness and extending productive hours far beyond sunset. It powered factories, hospitals, communication systems, and eventually computers. Today, virtually every technology that defines modern life, from refrigeration to the internet, depends on the reliable flow of electrical current. Electricity did not simply improve the world, it created an entirely new one. When Charles Darwin published On the Origin of Species in 1859, he did not just introduce a new scientific theory, he fundamentally changed how humanity understood its own place in the natural world. The theory of evolution by natural selection provided a coherent, evidence-based explanation for the diversity of life on Earth, one that did not require supernatural intervention. It revealed that all living things are connected through common ancestry, that species change over time in response to environmental pressures, and that humans are not separate from nature but deeply embedded within it. Evolution became the unifying framework of modern biology, informing everything from medicine to ecology to genetics. Understanding how organisms evolve has allowed scientists to predict how diseases mutate, how ecosystems respond to change, and how life itself might have begun on this planet billions of years ago. In 1953, James Watson, Francis Crick, and with critical contributions from Rosalind Franklin, the double helix structure of deoxyribonucleic acid was revealed to the world. This discovery unlocked the molecular language of life itself. DNA carries the genetic instructions that determine the development, functioning, growth, and reproduction of every living organism on Earth. Understanding its structure opened the door to genetic research that has transformed medicine, agriculture, and forensic science. It made possible the development of life-saving gene therapies, the mapping of the entire human genome, and the revolutionary gene editing technology known as clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats, or CRISPR. The discovery of DNA's structure is arguably the most significant scientific achievement of the 20th century. A moment when humanity gained the ability to read and eventually rewrite the very code of life. The internet began as a military communication project in the 1960s, known as ARPANET, designed to maintain communication networks in the event of a nuclear strike. Few could have predicted that this modest network of connected computers would evolve into the defining infrastructure of the 21st century. The internet has fundamentally altered how information is created, shared, and consumed. It has democratized access to knowledge on an unprecedented scale, allowing a student in a remote village to access the same information as a professor at a leading university. It has transformed commerce, politics, art, science, and social interaction. The rise of the internet has also brought serious challenges, including the spread of misinformation, threats to privacy, and new forms of social division. But its overall impact on human connectivity and the acceleration of knowledge exchange is without parallel in modern history. Perhaps the most powerful discovery in human history is not a single finding but a process, a way of asking questions and testing answers that has proven more reliable than any other method humanity has ever devised. The scientific method, developed and refined during the scientific revolution of the 16th and 17th centuries by thinkers like Galileo Galilei, Francis Bacon, and René Descartes, established a systematic approach to understanding the natural world through observation, hypothesis, experimentation, and peer review. Every discovery on this list, from germ theory to the structure of DNA, was made possible by this framework. The scientific method is self-correcting by design, meaning that errors are identified and revised over time as new evidence emerges. It is the engine behind every technological and medical advance of the modern era. In a very real sense, it is the discovery that made all other discoveries possible, and it remains humanity's most powerful tool for navigating an uncertain and endlessly complex world.